Hey everybody, it's John, Old Man Outdoors. Not on the lake today, not in the boat today, but I've got some things I'm going to show you that you might want to consider giving yourself a Christmas gift this year. These are all relatively inexpensive items that I have found to help my productivity on the water and perhaps increase my comfort a little bit out of the water. The links are all down below. They're Amazon links if you'd like more information on this. Join me over here at the workbench here in the shop, and we'll go through a few things that might make your 2024 a little bit better. It's really not going to be in any particular order, but I'm just going to go down through a list of some of the things that I have found during the past year to be extremely handy. I'm going to start out with just some lights. And this right here, now, sometimes I get headlights that work well, and sometimes I just get headlights that are just total junk. I have found this one. It's less than $10 when I bought it, and there's two of them in this package. And they're small, they're lightweight. This band seems to hold up really well. It doesn't seem to stretch, and it's comfortable wearing. You can put this on there. The light's got on. It's got some bright and dim, and it just really is good when I'm out early in the morning trying to find something or tie on a bait. And it's comfortable, easy to use, and I found it to be really good. Another light that I'm going to show you is this one right here. Now this is what this is what they look like new after I keep them in my pocket for a year. And this is an everyday carry item. This goes in my pants pocket just like a knife or a billfold or anything else. And I have carried this one every day for about 2 years. It's boogered up on the end, but it still works just like it did new. They take one AAA battery. I always keep a spare on hand because there is seldom a day goes by that this is not pulled out of my pocket for some particular reason. It's 10 o'clock this morning, and I have already had this out of my pocket twice today trying to find something. It's also really good in stores when you're in flea markets, garage sales, and you try to find something on that bottom shelf down there. You can light it up and you can see. I cannot tell you how handy these little lights are, and they're inexpensive, and they're built like a tank. Now let's talk about comfort on the water a little bit. These are old school right here. These are old school. This is new school. Let's talk about old school to start with. Now I know you can go buy the Hot Hands and a lot of other varieties of hand warmers out there, and they're not that expensive to buy them for a single use. But if you're going to be using hand warmers a lot out in your boat or on the deer stand or just out walking around the neighborhood, I cannot recommend highly enough these Zippo lighters. Now they are old school, but there's something kind of fascinating and romantic, I guess you could speak, about being old school. Now, if you've never used these lighters, first off, they're totally safe. They don't emit carbon monoxide, as I understand it. This is a catalytic converter right here that actually converts the fumes of the lighter fluid. I use rosinol or I use Zippo. It really doesn't matter. And they're easy to light. They start putting off heat within just a matter of minutes. And the way I use the matter of fact, you have to put them in this little sack here. Otherwise, they could burn your skin. And you adjust it by the amount of oxygen that you allow to put in or out of this little folder. Now the way I use it is this. There's many ways you can use it. I'll just tell you the way I use it. First off, this is a 6-hour, this is a 12-hour. Now I can moderate it a little bit by the amount of fuel I put in, but in reality, once you light it up, it's going to go ahead for the full time. I take one, I put it in my shirt pocket next to my heart up here, and that regulates the core temperature. You say, oh, how can that possibly help? It's amazing how you will actually notice it. This one I can put in my pocket, or the heat output's about the same. I'll tell you, the heat output, I can't tell much difference. This was just, if I'm going to go for a little bit, I'm going to use this one. And this one will burn a good 4 or 5 hours. This will burn, it'll burn 8 or 9 hours without even skipping a beat. But the heat output is essentially the same on either one, but I'll put them in my pocket. On my shirt pocket, I got a lanyard, and I'll just hang it around my neck to keep my core temperature. Put one in the back pocket, put one in the small of the back. It just depends on where you want it or where you think your blood circulation needs it. And now if you do camping, you can actually put these down in a sleeping bag or whatever you want to. Again, there's no open flame involved in this. Now you'll say, well, what about this? Surely there's got to be a little chemical smell. Well, I will admit there's a slight, if you're looking for it, you can actually hold this up to your nostrils and you'll be able to smell a slight hint of it. But you're going to be using these outside. I've never noticed the difference. Again, cannot recommend these highly enough for comfort in the cold weather. Now, if you want to go new school, This one is a rechargeable hand warmer. It's a 10,000 milliamp hour hand warmer. You can actually on this one adjust the temperature up or down. I think it goes from about 80 to about 135 degrees. It'll last anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. It takes about 3.5 hours to charge back up full. It's also got a USB port here on top of it if you want to use it for a power bank to charge your phone up. And now these are this is heavier than the Zippos by quite a bit. It's a good 3 times as heavy as a Zippo because, well, you've got batteries in it. But same concept. You can use a drawstring, put it around your neck, put it in your pocket, whatever you choose to. But if you're doing anything outdoors in the winter, you'd be surprised of how much better it is with a hand warmer. Now let's talk about some fishing items. If you've watched any of my videos so far, you know I am a big fan of trout magnets, whether it's the crappie magnet, the panfish magnet, or the trout magnet kit. This one right here is a neon kit, and it's just a typical example of what you're going to find. They make one regular. These things come, I'm not going to open it up because it'll spill out where I am, but you've got your jig heads. These are neon colors here. All these colors work. They're for all, and they're inexpensive, and this is a fish catching machine. If I had to narrow it down to 1 or 2 baits, I guarantee you trout magnets would make it in the top 3 or 4 of my baits. Again, link down below. They work amazing for panfish. I'm an ultralight, almost exclusively ultralight fisherman, mostly panfish. I would not get in a boat without trout magnets. Now, I know I'm a pan fisherman and I don't catch large, heavy fish, but occasionally, I'm not a bass fisherman, but a bass every once in a while will bite these little, well, not more than every once in a while, fairly regular, you'll catch a bass with a little trout magnet. Well, when I catch one, I like to see what they weigh, so that's what this does. It's a nice little unit. It's got your weight on it. It's got a tape measure on it, and it's not expensive. Batteries seem to last a long time. It's relatively water resistant. I keep it in my tackle box, ready to go almost all the time. Easy to turn on. Once it adjusts itself, you can pull it down however, and you can do in kilograms or pounds or whatever you want to make yourself happy doing. Really good. They're sturdy, knock around the boat all the time. As the old Timex thing, it takes a licking and keeps right on ticking. These two things here I'm going to talk about together because they're just, not only are they cute, they work extremely well. This pair of scissors, this thing cuts braid unbelievably well. It's easy to find. I keep that little carabiner hook on it next to my seat. I just reach down and pick it up. These stay exposed to the weather all the time. There's not a bit of rust on it at all. Occasionally I do put a little drop of oil right there on the hinge part of it to make it operate. But it's just so easy to reach in there with these. And if the weather's cold or I'm wearing gloves, still works just fine. This thing's called a knot needle. I put a video up about it. I'm over 70 years old. My eyesight's not quite what it used to be. Sometimes you just need a little bit of help, especially when I'm using 2-pound test line. The biggest line I'll probably ever use is 4 pounds. I use a lot of 2 and 4 pound tests. Sometimes those knots can get a little tricky. This knot needle makes all the difference in the world. And if you're a fly fisherman, you can actually, with this, you can tie a nail knot. Really good. They're called, I think they're called a knot needle. As usual, the links are down below. Now, you can spend a lot of money on sunglasses, and I know some people out there do that, or you can spend a little bit. I am hard on glasses. I wear glasses, but sometimes I just need a pair of cheap, inexpensive sunglasses. These 3 pair of sunglasses, there's a gold one, there's a blue one, there's a black one. I'm not going to take these others out. They're all the same thing. But these frames on these things are unbelievable. They're flexible. Now, I wouldn't go dancing or square dancing on top of them, but if they fall in your boat, not going to hurt them a bit. I mean, they're just unbelievably sturdy. They come in individual sacks. You get a cleaning cloth for each one of them, and 3 of them, I think, were less than $12. I've got a link down below. And the lens clarity, I mean, is certainly sufficient. Is way more than adequate. But if you're looking for a pair of sunglasses to just knock around, or you want to keep, and you can buy all 3 the same color if you want to, but if you want to keep pairing your car and your boat or whatever, this is the way to go. They've been extremely well. I've used this one all year long. And finally, I'll put this one out there. This is a UV resin outfit. If you do your own fly tying or just need to patch something up real quick, if you've not tried UV resin, this works really well. What you do, you just put a drop on something, then you take this UV light and you shine on it for 10 or 15 seconds, and it works really well. I actually like this better than super glue because I can hold it in place without everything sticking to me. But anyway, those are some things that I really enjoy and for my fishing. Well, that wraps it up for this year's Christmas list. I've got some other channels out on YouTube. One of them is called Tinker John. It deals with home shop machinists, and I do the same thing on it and some of the same items that I showed on it. But if you're interested in home shop machining or perhaps ham radio, you might want to check out my other channel, Tinker John W5CYF. It's the ham radio sign. But otherwise, well, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Links are down below for all the stuff that you saw in this video. And I hope you have a very safe, happy, and productive and catch yourself lots of fish. Get out and enjoy God's great outdoors in 2024.